Ciao.
Grazie colleghe e colleghe. L'ordine del giorno reca la discussione congiunta sulla preparazione della riunione del Consiglio europeo e sulle raccomandazioni per i negoziati su un nuovo partenariato con il Regno Unito di Gran Bretagna e Irlanda del Nord. Ci saranno dichiarazioni del Consiglio e della Commissione sulla preparazione della riunione del Consiglio e relazione dell'onorevole Piri e Hansen sulle raccomandazioni per le questioni della Brexit. Ricordo agli onorevoli che questa discussione non è prevista la procedura Catch the Eye. Do la parola alla Ministra Brnjac. Prego, a nome del Consiglio.
Thank you, President. Honourable members, the coronavirus pandemic continues to create extraordinary challenges for our societies. As we emerge from the height of the health crisis, we now face a different yet pressing task: creating the conditions for a successful economic and social recovery. We need to support the sectors and regions most affected by the pandemic to kickstart the economy and lay the ground for sustainable recovery across Europe. Yet, we also need to ensure that other vital priorities for our Union, such as green and digital transition, are met and matched by the right resources. That is why the EU Recovery Plan, presented by the Commission at the end of May, is so important, and why it will be the main focus of our efforts in the weeks ahead. We are called to agree shortly not only on the instruments of the recovery, but on the entire multiannual financial framework for the coming years. And this is no small task. The Council and the European Council are fully mobilised behind this common effort. Members of the European Council will hold an orientation debate on the EU recovery package on Friday through video conference. The President of the European Council wants to give leaders an opportunity to discuss the various aspects of the overall packages and prepare the subsequent summit, which should, if possible, be a physical meeting. While the President of the European Council launched the political consultations at the highest level following the Commission's proposal, we also immediately started work in the Council. The Croatian presidency has organised a series of meetings, both at technical and political levels, in order for the delegates to closely examine and present their views on building blocks of the package. This technical and political work on the proposals is needed to pave the way for the leaders' discussion. These discussions in the Council have helped clarify many issues and were held in a positive atmosphere. Delegations are willing to look at both the MFF and the recovery plan as a package, taking into account the effectiveness of this crisis. Continuous cooperation with the European Parliament will remain crucial. If we want the package to enter into force already in January 2021, the ambition is for the European Council to provide its political guidance to the Council before summer break, which would allow us to promptly seek the European Parliament's consent. Let us be honest, this is a very ambitious approach. Positions are still apart on a number of issues, but together we have to make sure and to do utmost so that MFF and the recovery instrument swiftly bring tangible, positive effects for our citizens and businesses. While the EU recovery package will be the main focus of the leaders' discussions on Friday, they will also touch upon other issues. In particular, let me note that President Michel will update the leaders on the state of play of the EU-UK negotiations on the future partnership. Unfortunately, so far, we didn't achieve as much as we hoped for. That is the case in all four crucial areas: level playing field, fisheries, governance and internal security, as well as foreign policy and external security, to which you rightly devote a section in your recommendation. Since the UK government has confirmed that they will not consider an extension of a transition period, what is ahead of us is about 4 months of further negotiation, taking into account the time necessary for a proper ratification process. The fact that we are left with so little time is not the choice of the Council nor of the Parliament, but we have to respect it. The mandate and political declaration that are guiding our negotiator, as well as your resolution on the subject, are anchored into the situation created by the United Kingdom. The UK has a choice, either to preserve enough alignment with the Union and retain substantial access to the single market, or choose its own path, not only in terms of sovereignty, but also in regulatory terms, which would reduce the scope and the depth of the partnership that can be concluded. We believe that a negotiating mandate adopted by the Council last February and largely echoed by your resolution provides for enough flexibility to find an agreement in a little time left. This is also why we support the decision of the negotiators to intensify the pace of negotiations over the summer, so that by October we can see a draft partnership emerging. Before I conclude, let me finally stress that, as also pointed out in your draft recommendation, we have causes for concern in the current implementation of the withdrawal agreement. Needless to say, progress in the partnership negotiations has to go hand in hand with progress in the implementation of the withdrawal agreement. Thank you very much.
Grazie signora Ministra. La parola alla Presidente della Commissione, che ringrazio per la sua presenza, e saluto anche il Vicepresidente Šefčovič, il capo negoziatore dell'Unione Europea Michel Barnier. Prego Presidente.
Thank you, Mr. President, honourable members. The negotiations with the United Kingdom always promised to be difficult, and they have not disappointed. Monday, President Sassoli, President Michel, and I discussed the way forward with Prime Minister Johnson. The Prime Minister confirmed that he does not want to extend the transition period beyond the end of this year. We on our side have always been ready to grant extension, but it needs two to tango. And this means that we are now halfway through these negotiations with 5 months left to go. But we're definitely not halfway through the work to reach an agreement. With little time ahead of us, we will do all in our power to reach an agreement. We will be constructive, as we've always been. And we're ready to be creative to find common ground where there even seems to be none. What we are not ready to do is to put into question our principles and the integrity of our union, because it is our duty to protect the interests of the European citizens. Michel Barnier, who has done an outstanding job over the last month, Michel Barnier has explained many times why the 4 outstanding issues are so crucial. First of all, the level playing field. The fundamental issue at stake here is fair competition. We're ready and willing to compete with British firms. They're excellent, and our firms are excellent too. But it cannot be a downward competition. Just think of labour standards or environmental protection. It should be a shared interest for the European Union and the UK to never slide backwards and always advance together towards higher standards. Second, on fisheries. No one questioned the UK's sovereignty in its own waters, without any question. But we ask predictability, and we ask for guarantees for our fishermen and fisherwomen who have been sailing in those waters for decades. It is very clear that there cannot be a comprehensive trade agreement without fisheries, without a level playing field, or without strong governance mechanisms. Governance. Governance may sound like an issue for bureaucrats. It's not. It is central for our businesses and our private citizens, both in the UK and in the European Union. It is crucial to ensure that what has been agreed is actually done. And finally, on police and judicial cooperation, we want our citizens' liberties, fundamental rights and data to be safeguarded in all circumstances, and this is why we expect a role for the European Court of Justice where it matters. These are our objectives, not only in our discussions with the UK, but in any relationship with any partner. Because these are principles at the heart of the European Union: fair competition, rising social standards, the protection of our citizens and the rule of law. This is who we are, and it is not going to change. Honourable members, I'm particularly glad for the unity that all institutions have shown and for this Parliament's full support throughout this process. This will even be more important in the next phase of the talks. No one can say with certainty where these negotiations will be at the end of the year, but I know for sure that we will have done everything to reach an agreement and to have a good start with the UK as a third country neighbour. Meine sehr geehrten Damen und Herren Abgeordnete, unsere britischen Freunde sind leider entschlossen, einen Schritt zurückzugehen. Sie wollen die Europäische Union und den gemeinsamen Markt verlassen. Wir werden weiter daran arbeiten, die wirtschaftlichen Folgen für unsere Union abzufedern. Und gleichzeitig fordert uns die Gesundheits- und Wirtschaftskrise in einer noch nie dagewesenen Form heraus. Die Europäische Kommission ist in die Verantwortung gegangen. Mit Next Generation EU haben wir einen ambitionierten, einen mutigen Vorschlag präsentiert. Next Generation EU ist ausgewogen. Es hilft jenen, die viele Kranke und Tote zu beklagen haben. Aber es hilft ebenso den Staaten, die indirekt schwer betroffen sind, weil Lieferketten gerissen sind, weil Fabriken stillstehen, weil die Arbeitslosigkeit steigt. Next Generation EU ist aber weit mehr als ein Rettungspaket. Es ist ein Beschleuniger für Wissenschaft, innovative Forschung und Investitionen in Zukunftstechnologien. Wenn wir es richtig machen, wird Next Generation EU nicht nur zur Erholung unseres Binnenmarktes führen, sondern seine Wettbewerbsfähigkeit und seine Innovationskraft voranbringen. Was uns wichtig ist, ist, dass wir damit die längst überfällige Modernisierung beschleunigen. Wir wollen nicht in den Zustand vor der Krise, sondern wir wollen nach vorne gehen in einer modernen Wirtschaft, einer innovationsfähigen Wirtschaft, die uns stärker macht nach der Krise, als wir vorher waren. Next Generation EU ist auch ein Vertrag zwischen den Generationen. Ja, es stimmt, wir müssen jetzt gewaltige Investitionen tätigen, um uns aus der Krise zu wuchten. Aber wir bauen mit dem Geld ein besseres, ein nachhaltigeres und ein digitaleres Europa. Europa geht voran. Andere Regionen in der Welt verfolgen ganz genau, was gerade hier passiert. Und auch deswegen haben wir Next Generation EU so ausgerichtet, dass es Europas Position in der unmittelbaren Nachbarschaft ebenso stärkt wie auf der großen Bühne. Wir haben jetzt die Chance und die Verpflichtung, ein Europa zu bauen, das besser in der Lage ist, den globalen Stürmen zu trotzen und künftigen Generationen eine sichere Heimat zu sein. Meine Damen und Herren, ich hatte schon mehrfach die Gelegenheit, Ihnen den MFR und Next Generation EU zu erläutern. Das werden wir auch am Freitag im Europäischen Rat tun. Next Generation EU wurde in seinen Grundzügen positiv aufgenommen. Auch die Reaktion der Märkte war sehr positiv darauf. Und mir ist klar, dass es gleichzeitig sehr wichtig ist, dass angesichts der Größe und der Komplexität der Aufgabe wir diese ausführlich erklären und ausführlich diskutieren, auch hier in diesem Haus. Mir ist insbesondere wichtig die Rolle des Europäischen Parlaments, das richtige Verhältnis zwischen nationalen Reformanstrengungen in den Mitgliedstaaten und unseren europäischen Prioritäten, insbesondere der European Green Deal, die Digitalisierung und die Resilienz. Und drittens die Bedeutung neuer Eigenmittel für die Union in einem fundierten Rückzahlungsplan. Es ist meine feste Absicht, mit Ihnen dazu im intensiven Gespräch zu sein. Wir müssen alle an einem Strang ziehen. Wir können uns keinen Verzug leisten. Lassen Sie uns das gemeinsam anpacken für Europa. Vielen Dank.
Grazie Presidente. Adesso la parola alla relatrice onorevole